everyone, this is TheVortexChicken, and welcome back to Explosive Bunnies. So today it's a bit of a different video. It's the first speedrun on the channel, and it is a journey mode, weapons only speedrun. And what that means is I can only use weapons against bosses. I can't use some of the more cheesy methods such as dynamite and bees that will make a speedrun take like 5 minutes. So I am limiting myself to only using actual weapons, so things that are on the weapons page of the Terraria wiki. And right now you're just seeing world generation. I chose corruption because the chasms are easier to get down, and since I'm going to be using God mode and I won't be using Ichor, there's really no benefit of choosing Crimson. So that is why I chose corruption. I chose a small world so that the Hellevator is easier to dig. And Random Seed, it is Random Seed Glitchless, so there will be no major abuses in this run. I will be using the journey mode, power sliders, and God mode, but that is the extent of the cheesy methods that I will be using. So here I'm just cutting down trees to get 100 wood because that's what I need to duplicate it. Houses are important because I do need the demolitionist for dynamite to dig the Hellevator, and I will also be using grenades against the wall of flesh. I also need the arms dealer for the mechanical bosses and the merchant for some general stuff. So I definitely need some NPCs, so I will be building some houses. And here I've just duplicated some wood and torches and rope, and I'm turning on God mode, off infection spread. And now the house building is about to begin. So I never really know how many houses I really need to build. So I kind of just build until I want to stop. So that's what you'll see me doing here. And I should mention that I am not recording this live. I am doing what is called dubbing. Essentially just a voiceover of the speedrun so that I don't have to be talking while I am speedrunning. And so, yeah, this is the method that I use to build houses. I'm still not good at it, so I will be messing up a lot. Actually, the messing up part is over. But yeah, if I had to say one thing that I'm bad at in speedruns, it's that. The housing part of it. And you know what I'm going to do now? I'm gonna shut my mouth and let you watch the speedrun until something eventful happens or something I need to explain happens. And if you didn't know, you can just put 9 walls in these houses and have them be valid if you do them just like this. That is kind of a bug. I wouldn't really consider it a major glitch, so that's why I'm allowing myself to use it. Tell me in the comments if you think I should have just stuck it up and put walls there. Put more walls there, but I don't really consider that a glitch. I just consider it an oversight by the developers. And you see here I'm swinging my axe on all of these trees. It's really more important to do this in a normal mode speedrun where you have the chance to die, but it gets you food, and food is a good source of some extra movement speed. And now that I have grenades to spawn the demolitionist, I'm coming back towards base to kill a couple enemies so that I can get enough money to duplicate money so that I can easily spawn the merchant, and also have enough money to buy a bunch of grenades and a bunch of dynamite. So now that I have a silver coin, I am crafting it into 100 copper coins and researching them so that I can duplicate copper coins, and when I hold shift and click them, it'll actually give me silver coins because it automatically turns a stack of copper coins into 1 silver. And now that I have enough silver to spawn the merchant, I am turning up time by 24, and there he is. So now I'm just waiting for the demolitionist, and he is here. So I'm going to change time to night and freeze it, which is very important for Hellevator digging because you can get dye items and you don't want the dye trader to spawn, so that's why it is frozen at nighttime, so that the dye trader can't spawn until I have trashed all the dye items in my inventory. So now I am just getting a bunch of silver coins, which I can now research and duplicate and make gold coins with. And so now I will be rich enough to buy a stack of grenades and a stack of dynamite to duplicate them both, because they're both going to be very good resources for me in this speedrun. So I've just grabbed a stack of grenades and a stack of dynamite out of my duplication menu because it is time to start digging the Hellevator. And the easiest way to do this is just with a bunch of dynamite. And so I'm just going to spend the next minute or so chucking dynamite down and digging a Hellevator all the way to the underworld to challenge the first boss, the Wall of Flesh. So I took a small detour to craft some sticky dynamite to easily get me into this house, which contains a cloud in a bottle, which is going to be really good down the road. And so now I'm going to get back to just throwing dynamite down the Hellevator. Now, normally in a speedrun, when you run out of dynamite, you're thinking, oh no, I've got to go all the way back up to the demolitionist to buy more. But in this case, I can just grab another stack out of my duplication menu, which is the beauty of speedrunning journey mode. So here I am in the underworld, and it is time to turn enemy spawns to 10 to quickly and easily farm for a voodoo demon, which I actually ended up not even getting. In all of my previous runs, I had very quickly and very easily gotten a voodoo demon, but after a while of sitting around and not getting one, I actually just decided to build the guide a house and spawn the wall of flesh manually by killing the guide himself in lava, which is something I've never had to do before. And this is where I got the Demon Scythe, which I actually used against the Wall of Flesh instead of grenades. So I guess it is good that I turned up spawn rates and waited for a while, because the Demon Scythe is just a little bit better than grenades. Normally it would be a lot better, but since this is God mode and I can stay as close to the wall as I want and I don't have to worry about the grenades dealing me damage, it's actually not that much better, but it still is that little bit better. And this is the first run where I got the Demon Scythe, so it's kind of cool. Also, if you're wondering why I can consistently use the Demon Scythe, God mode gives you, as well as infinite health, infinite mana, and that's why I consider it a huge cheat. But for this speedrun, you know, it's a speedrun category, so I feel that it's not cheating to speedrun with God mode. So here's the completed house for the guide. I'm just moving off of the screen so that the guide will spawn in. I'm also turning the time off of frozen, so that the guide will spawn in. I'm not sure if that is a thing, that it can't be frozen, but either way, the guide is about to spawn in, and I really should have turned off the spawn rates a while ago, but since I'm an idiot, I still have them at 10 times. So here's the coolest way by far to spawn the wall of flesh. Just throw a stick of dynamite and the guide will fall right into the lava. Actually, he fell on top of some obsidian, but he'll walk right into the lava because he is almost as dumb as I am. And so here's the wall of flesh. I'm just going to use my demon scythe. Now, I don't know why the wall of flesh spawned like this with its eye, with its top eye all the way down there. But be that as it may, it gradually came up, so it doesn't matter. And now I am finally turning the spawn rates down. And pretty soon you will see me turn the difficulty up to master mode, so that I can get the possibility of the goat skull. It's not essential, I would just like to have it. And spoiler alert, I won't get it. But if you are trying to get a treasure bag or a master mode exclusive drop, never switch it up to master before starting the fight, because that will give it its master mode health. So it's kind of cheesy what I'm doing, but I just spawn the boss with journey mode difficulty and then turn it up to master midway through the fight. And now we've almost got the wall of flesh defeated. There it is. Again, no goat skull. But I do get a ranger emblem, I believe. And always remember to turn it off of master. Otherwise, you will have made a big mistake. So in the treasure bag, yes, Pwn Hammer, Firecracker, Ranger Emblem, and the Demon Heart. And so now my next move is to smash an altar with that Pwn Hammer so that the mech bosses can spawn naturally. So all it takes is one Altarsmash, and while I'm down here, I will also smash a Shadow Orb to get a musket, which will allow the arms dealer to spawn. So that's why I'm getting the dynamite, and I'm just going to throw a bunch of it down, and make sure to pick up the musket, and then turn time speed to 24 if it's not already there, so that the arms dealer will spawn. Because I need to buy a shotgun to kill the mechanical bosses. So here I am buying empty bullets. As always, I buy too many, but I'm going to use them to craft exploding bullets, which deal a little more damage than normal musket balls. So they are worth having. They're just crafted at a workbench with normal, not normal, but empty bullets and explosive powder, which is obtained from the Demolitionist, as you're seeing right here. And then I can just duplicate the exploding bullets so that I have an infinite source. And I'll be using these exploding bullets with the shotgun for all of the mechanical bosses as well as Plantera. So I'm going to summon the mechanical bosses, or force them to spawn, by constantly changing the time from day to night, so that the random spawn messages will appear. And then if the random spawn messages do appear, I just turn it to midnight so that they'll spawn immediately. And keep time frozen in case a fight goes past the night, so that the mechanical bosses don't despawn. But the Destroyer is the first boss. I'm surprised it didn't kill my NPCs, but I'm going to be taking it over to the Corruption so that I can craft ancient Hallowed armor pieces as I want to at the demon altars. So yeah, the Destroyer is going to be a pretty long fight, and I will not speak, I will not commentate until after the fight is over. that is the destroyer defeated. And I will just be, I believe, crafting the ancient hallowed helmet at one of the nearby demon altars. And I will be changing the difficulty to master in the middle of all the mech boss fights. But spoiler alert, I will not be getting any dev sets, so really no point. But yeah, here's the ancient hallowed helmet, and there's really nothing else that I can craft. So I will just get into the next mechanical boss fight. So here we have the twins down. Again, no developer set, but I did get some hallowed bars, not a lot. I will be crafting the entire armor set after the Skeletron Prime fight, but I believe not before. And here is Skeletron Prime, the final mechanical boss down. As you can see, the jungle grows restless, and I'm going down to finish up my Ancient Hallowed armor set. If you don't know, the Ancient Hallowed armor set gives you the exact same bonuses as the Hallowed itself. It just looks different, and it's crafted at a demon altar. And as you see, I am a dumb idiot, and I waste 24 bars on a second chest plate, which means that I don't have enough to actually craft the mage helmet, which I was going to use for the Moonlord paired with the Nebula Blaze. So that's just kind of sad, but it's not really a big deal. So now I'm turning the spawns up to 24 times, and I will be going to the jungle to take on Plantera and Golem. So I still haven't found a Plantera bulb, but here is the jungle temple, so that's useful, because I don't want to have to look for that after the Plantera fight. And I should come up on a Plantera bulb really soon. And the Plantera fight isn't going to be much different from the mech bosses. The only real difference is that I will not turn it up to master mode, because I do want normal mode's 100% drop chance on the whatever it's called, grenade launcher. As you see, here is the bulb, so without further ado, I'm about to start the fight. But yeah, normal mode gives you the grenade launcher at 100% drop chance. So I find that getting that would be better than just getting a dev set, because there are some pretty garbage things that Plantera can drop, and it's better to have a good weapon for Golem, Skeletron, and the Cultist. So that's my line of thinking for keeping it on journey mode. So there is Plantera down, along with her companion, the Eye of Cthulhu. I was going to do that in Master Mode to get the Shield of Cthulhu, but since I'm dumb, I didn't. So now I'm doing it again to get the Shield of Cthulhu, this time with it in Master Mode. But from Plantera, I not only got the grenade launcher, but also the pygmy staff. So I don't know how much that'll help, but it'll just be a good upgrade over the Finch. And now the next order of business is going to be fighting Golem. So for Golem, I will just be using my thingy, grenade launcher. Why can I never think of the words grenade launcher? I'll just be using my grenade launcher, which will kill Golem pretty darn quickly. Again, I switched it up to master mode in attempts to get a developer set, but of course not getting one because that's just how my luck is. And so yeah, grenade launcher is actually, in my opinion, a pretty darn underrated weapon. But here is Golem defeated. The treasure bag, not much useful stuff there. And the next order of business is going to be the Lunatic Cultist. Of course, I'll have to fight Skeletron first, but alright, there is Skeletron down, meaning the cultists will now spawn. Again, not really much you can get from Skeletron's treasure bag, so I don't actually know why I turned it up to master mode, but it doesn't matter. I'm just turning time up, or keeping it at 24 actually, because it was already there, and now the cultist should have spawned, so I don't know why I'm looting this chest, but I am. So yeah, but once I have gotten a pair of wings that I already trashed, I will go and fight the Lunatic Cultist. And yeah, the cultists have spawned here. So, with the Lunatic Cultist defeated, it is now time to start grinding out the pillars. I will be using an assortment of pillar weapons against the Moonlord. I will go more in depth with that later, when it's time to fight the Moonlord. But the first pillar I will destroy is the Nebula pillar. Now I actually don't know if turning it up to 10 times spawn rate does anything for the pillars, because I know that turning it down to 0 doesn't. But just in case it does, I have 10 times spawn rate for all of the pillars. So, with the Nebula pillar finally destroyed, I'm going to collect the fragments and go home to craft the first pillar weapon, the Nebula Blaze. And I will be using that against most of the pillars and a good portion of the Moonlord fight. So the Stardust Dragon Staff, while it isn't going to be amazing, it will be helpful. So that's why I'm crafting it, and it will help me through the Solar and Vortex Pillars, and then also the Moon Lord. So now that the vortex pillar is down, impending doom approaches. And so here's my explanation on what weapons I will be using on the Moonlord and why. So, as you may know, I believe that the Phantasm is by far the best pillar weapon because it has by far the best DPS. But really, I'm better optimized for a weapon like the Nebula Blaze because the Phantasm, I don't have good arrows, I also don't have a magic quiver, and I don't really need any of those variables for the Nebula Blaze. All I really need for that is mana, which with God Mode, I have infinitely. So I'm mostly going to be using the Nebula Blaze. I will finish it off with some Solar Eruption and Phantasm. But yeah, most of the fight, as you are about to see, is going to be Nebula Blaze. So here's the Moonlord about to be defeated. As you can see, I'm just grinding away at the core, switching between the Nebula Blaze, Solar Eruption, and Phantasm. And so this is the speedrun. Could I have done it faster? Of course I could have. If you're watching this, can you do it faster than I did? Of course you can. If you do, please, show a link in the comments. But yeah, this is the time, 1:09:25, and I will see you later.